AeroLEDs has sponsored part of this build and has given us some lights, which we are super excited about. So let me show you the landing lights they sent us, and we're gonna get them mounted today. All right, not too much on that right now, but I am at a point where I am ready to run some wiring, and I need to run it because I need to know where to put some holes inside of what I just showed you, and I'm mid-project on that. All right, these are the MicroSun landing lights from AeroLED, and trust me, these are bright. My buddy and I hooked them up and about blinded ourselves. Excited to have these because for such a small package, they provide a lot of performance, a lot of light. I've installed these on other airplanes before, and it has changed everything. So I am planning on mounting these bad boys right about here and right there on the landing gear. And one of the coolest parts about these lights is they're also wig-wag, and we have a really interesting mounting solution for it. So this is a mounting bracket for a light bar on a side-by-side, but it's going to work perfectly fitting onto our landing gear and mounting exactly where we want it. And we're only going to need one of these guys per light, but I don't want to use it like this. This is just a bit much. So we're just going to use these two bits right here, but let me show you the plan. All right, so here's the idea. That's what that's going to look like. And I need this to mount to that, but they're not working well together. All right, so here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna build a plate that goes from this ear to this ear, and then we'll groove these pieces out, mark the holes, and then drill them. So to do that, again, this piece of metal, and what's really cool about it is I can set a distance. I scratched it. With that scratch, I can take the jigsaw and cut it out exactly how we need it to be. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on this. All right, now we're all etched up. So what we're gonna do is cut out down into these ridges to be able to make it so that we just have metal where the ears are gonna be. All right, my neighbor is testing his airplane, but we're gonna get to filing anyways. Now I know you're thinking, hey Carl, why'd you tape that onto the light? Well, now I can take this marker and I can mark on that piece of metal where it's hanging over. You can see that right there. And then I'll put it back inside the vise and start filing it down and be able to follow the curve of the light just perfectly. You can see inside of those corners exactly where I need to file down, and then I'll clean up all of this inside of here, file it down so it's nice and flat. All right, now you can see I rounded off all four corners there. I'm just gonna line this back up to the plate here. Look at that. It's perfect. This is turning out way better than I ever thought it would. But what I need to do now is get this guy back on here, tape him on, and then mark where I'm gonna be drilling. And I'm gonna use this guy to make sure that the bit doesn't wander as I'm drilling through. As you can. All right, all four holes, everything's looking good. I'm gonna clean up the back side of this with the file, but I'm not gonna show you that. All right, so now we're on to the next step, and that's getting this plate on to this part of the mount. And there was a bolt that was going through there, but it would stick up way too high, and we want this to mount as flush as possible to the light itself to give us the lowest profile we possibly can. So I've got some special screws that will mount this to this, and that's gonna be these guys. And you can see the backside, flat as possible. They're made of aluminum, super lightweight, and they'll be more than enough to hold this on, especially with the other secret stuff that we're gonna be doing this to make sure that it doesn't rotate. Really? All right, now I can take this guy and start screwing him in. All right, there you have it. Now, I've tightened it down pretty darn good, but it's still not secure. I can turn it. And to be able to fix that, I'm gonna put another bolt just right up here. That'll keep it from turning and also help it secure just a little bit better to this aluminum block. Now there is a hole that is going through it, so putting it over here on this side, it's actually quite thick, and I'll be able to sink it using this nut right here, and it'll keep it from going anywhere. All right, now it's time for this guy to countersink this. All right, look at that. It is nice and flush. I couldn't be happier with that. All right, and there we have it. Everything is mounted up, and let's go put it on the plane and see how it looks. All right, and look at that. That looks absolutely awesome. So I need to do the other one. I'll get that taken care of, and tomorrow we're gonna come back and wire this up. That is so cool. All right, guys, I'm back here day 2, and yesterday I ran into a problem that I didn't address and I didn't talk about, and I really should have. And you know, while you're making parts and doing things, you're gonna do stuff and then think about it later on and be like, I really don't like that. And that's exactly what happened to me. Let me show you. So the problem is with this guy. Now, yesterday when I mounted everything, it looked pretty good, but there was a space between the mounting bracket and the light, and it's because of this guy right here. And I went ahead and modified this one this morning, and you can see that there is no gap there anymore, and it looks fantastic and everything looks good. And what I did is just drilled another hole right here and made it a flush mount so that there was no gap between the light and this back plate. So I'm going to go ahead and modify this one to make it the same and get these guys back on the plane. All right, and just like that, this one is good, so I'm gonna get the light mounted to it, and then we'll get them mounted onto down here. I know I already mounted one yesterday, but man, that just looks so cool. And the mounts turned out so perfect. All right, guys, like I said at the beginning, the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to know what route all of my wires need to take and where I need to put a hole inside of the floor and if I need any conduit or anything like that to be able to get the wire where I want it inside of the airplane. And that will make it so that I can put the fabric down on the bottom again. When I'm doing this, disclaimer to you guys, this is just how I'm currently doing this, and this may not be how I do it when I actually wire everything in. This is just temporary, but I want to make sure that everything works. Now, to do all this, I'm following this gray diagram that AeroLEDs has available on their website. And it's super easy, but to help, I'm going to add some color. So all I'm doing here is following this diagram and making a small temporary panel. 2 switches and a single breaker. That's it. Now, I know I'm supposed to have 2 breakers, but this will be just fine for our test. With the panel complete and a little tape, it's temporarily mounted. I run the wires down and get to wiring the actual lights. Red wire for on, yellow wire for wigwag, and black for ground. Then I run an extra wire from light to light so they can actually wag and not just blink. This goes from the green wire on one side to blue on the other. Then I cap off the extra wires. Now, if you're wondering how I'm planning on powering all of this, I'm using this little power brick from Trax. I got another one for the RC car for my son, and this happens to be an AC to DC adapter that can do 13.8 volts at 3.5 amps. So for a lot of the testing of the avionics, this is going to work great. All right, so everything's in the off position here on my makeshift little panel. This is about where I'm going to be having these buttons and switches. So I didn't want to bore you guys with how I was actually going to be running these wires. And so they're just kind of dangling here for right now. I'll take care of that off camera. And we got these guys all set up down here. So let's go ahead and flip the first switch. This is plugged in. Here we go. Well, that didn't pop. Ah, oh, dang it. I must have messed something up. Let's go ahead and try the wigwag. And that is working perfectly. Wow, those are bright. Can't really tell on camera, but my goodness. All right, so I'm gonna climb down here. I guarantee it's one of the connections that I made right here because, you know, it's not the best. This light wasn't on, that one was, so I'm gonna check the red because the wiring diagram tells me that the red wire is the one that just turns this on. So yellow's for the wigwag. Okay, fiddling is complete. Let's try this again. And there it is. That is awesome. Man, they really are bright. I'm gonna just keep backing up here. You can really see those. But you know what? This isn't the best test of these. So what we're gonna do is come back later tonight when it's dark and really see what this thing can do. All right, I'm back out here at the hangar. It is nighttime. I have a little helper. Say hi, Jenny. She's gonna be turning the lights on for us. She's really excited about it. And we have out over here, there's already a light there. So Jenny, can you please turn the lights on and let's see what we get? Oh my goodness. Now the camera did adjust that down a little bit, but that is stinking bright. Ah. Ooh, all right, Jenny, turn on the other one. Oh, there it goes. It's dancing back and forth, and so is Jenny. All right, let's have a little more fun with this, though. Let's pull it out of the hanger and see it go down the hanger row. Such a big helper. My goodness. All right, here we go again. All right, Jenny, turn it on. Whew. Look at that. You know what? I'm going to go all the way down there and do the same thing. Wow. The camera, I mean, you can't really even tell how bright it is out here, but like it's lighting up the entire hanger row here. MicroSun, these guys really are living up to their name. You know, I was talking to some people and they said that making it wigwag, even though they are a short distance apart, really does make a difference. And man, out here you can definitely see a moving light. Well, I think those guys make a huge difference. But I'm super excited about these lights. And again, I wanted to thank AeroLED for sending these over to us. We've got other lights for the airplane that we're going to be installing. You know, wingtip lights, a beacon, some other things. And it's gonna make this airplane completely visible at night, and I'll be able to see the runway. Anyways, that's it for this video. Share aviation wherever you can, and we'll see you in the next one.